Arrow showrunner and one of the architects of the Arrowverse, Mark Guggenheim, is convinced, and he's trying to convince you, that superhero movies are going the way of the Western, and soon they will all be gone. So once again, this comes at us from Mark Guggenheim, who wanted to clarify what he's been saying for a while now in regards to all the live action content, specifically films coming at us that are connected to, I guess, the superhero genre. Even though, again, superhero movies are not a genre. They take place in different genres. You just need a brain to be able to figure this one out. Either way, though, he talks about some of these films coming out this year. Where he talks about Spider-Verse, for example, talking about, oh, there's the same trope again. It's the multiverse. And he talks about how you're looking at all these comic book movies coming out and the fact that there's so many that it's inevitable. They're going to go like the Western, and you're only going to get to the point where you get one every once in a while. And he believes that this is truly going to happen, and sooner rather than later. Now, again, I don't fully believe with this. I partially believe with it. I think you're going to get to the point where they realize they can't just slap a Marvel or a DC logo on anything and expect people to see it again. Let's be real, that happened plenty of times already. Ant-Man, Guardians of the Galaxy, they were in that early Marvel hype and they managed to make money, but they were also much cheaper budgets. Now they're spending 2 times the budget of the original film, and Ant-Man isn't sustainable, Guardians is. So I kind of agree with what he's saying. I think you're gonna see a downsizing of comic book films. There's gonna be less of them, but they're not gonna go away. You're not gonna get to the point where you get one every 2 to 3 years like he's insisting and many people are insisting. You're gonna go to 2 to 3 a year, maybe 4, just not 10, right? We understand that. And also, yes, let's address it. Yes, this is coming from the man who engineered the Arrowverse, and then many people will say that was literally the death of comic book TV shows, which technically you could say yes, but not really, because that was always different. Like, yeah, there was too many of them, and yeah, their quality was god-awful, but they maintained a fan base. So, isn't it safe to say that the movies are going to maintain a fan base as well? Especially since there's entire generations always discovering comics and these characters, which is why they haven't gone away since the comics started. But Westerns have, because they were very much a product of their age. And when you were watching a Western, chances are that your grandfather lived through the end of the West expansion, right? Right there towards the end of the 1910s, 1920s. The West completely died off. So if you were watching Westerns 40 years ago when you were 10, yeah, the Westerns had to die off because there was no more stories to tell. Superheroes, they evolved themselves with the times. That's the difference here that a lot of people seem to not understand. I remember about 20-something years ago, I remember reading an article in one of those popular magazines saying the death of science fiction. And the byline was talked about how we've exhausted all possible stories for science fiction. What's the most popular genre of film today? Science fiction. Why? Because sci-fi always evolves. So I find his argument, honestly, to kind of be old man yells at clouds to a degree.